In fact, this was almost a year ago. We met in Barcelona here at MWC, and we realized that our strengths are very complementary. Ericsson brings us the global scale of an industry giant in the space. Vonage is one of the gold standards in CPaaS. And over the years, we've been working on this bridge between the exposure layer and monetizations. And we developed some very cool technology on consent, which is extremely critical for this piece. And we felt that combining the capabilities of Ericsson, Vonage, and Aduna, I think, which came into fruition last year as well, and LotusFlare, really can help reshape the entire API value chain, enable CSPs who have been craving to monetize their 5G capabilities, enabling them to expose and get consent and then monetize. And I think we are well on our way to have that dream come to reality and change the potential into actuals for the CSPs.
We actually started looking at the opening up of networks, the exposure of APIs across carriers globally, how we bundle that in network-powered solutions and take it to our enterprise customers, thinking about this journey in horizons, like 1, 2, 3. And what we came to terms with is that although we can do a lot of things here and now, at the end of the day, we anticipate the challenges when we come to the next frontier of new network APIs that will require, for instance, consent management. Yep. And as we were trying to identify the friction in the market, there was one name that kept coming back, and it was LotusFlare, who is kind of standing out in the category, helping operators expose those capabilities. So that led us to you. We met here last year, and here we are now with a strong strategic partnership. We're very excited to be partnering with LotusFlare to try help operators expose these capabilities. As an industry, both on the infrastructure side, Ericsson, operators, we thrive in complexity, and we really like to be different from each other, which makes it really difficult for developers to love us and to engage. So the number one job for us now is to take these intelligent network capabilities and package them up for enterprises and developers to consume them in an open, intuitive, and programmable way. And that's what we then call network-powered solutions. And here we've made some strides with the capabilities available to us today, where we're able to work in, for instance, financial services, but also mobility, with introducing additional fraud prevention capabilities that are based in the networks, improving the security of transactions, while at the same time improving the customer experience. So we're introducing more security and reducing the friction in the system. Yep. So it's a really compelling value proposition, and that's kind of where we start. We use these capabilities, bundle them in solutions of value for the enterprise.
The way we are doing it is, ultimately at the end of the day, CSP has made tremendous investments, and they have great capabilities with the programmable network, from Ericsson. But what they have really lacked a standardized way to expose and monetize. And what we are doing is there are two things which the industry needs to scale. One is standardization, and the second is aggregation. And with the formation of Aduna, with all the leading CSPs across the globe are participating in this effort, I think aggregation is now becoming a reality. It's an uphill task to get everyone together with a common sense of purpose, and I think that is happening. Our solution is aggregator ready, right? And second is standardizations. We are compliant with the CAMARA API standards and the TM form standards. That will really enable to take all the technical complexities out. Mm-hmm. Because, as I think Niklas was saying, like CSP kind of thrive in a lot of complexities because they want everything unique for themselves. But really that hurts developers. Mm-hmm. And that helps CSPs also to monetize. Mm-hmm. So I think the standardizations and aggregation is enabling much easier and frictionless way to expose those network capability developers. And then we provide the whole commerce layer which will enable to CSP to kind of ring their registers as the API calls come in, and which I think they will love, and the whole ecosystem is going to be very healthy.
The biggest unlock is clearly in getting common capabilities exposed in a standardized way across carriers within countries, across regions, and ultimately globally. That's what we hear from our customers. Enterprises, enterprise developers want to write code once and then execute it on networks across the globe. So the biggest unlock is when we get those capabilities exposed on one platform at hyperscale. That's what's going to get developers excited. That's what's going to drive global adoption at scale, really.
And I think the way I look at it is, the trifecta of exposure, consent, and commerce. That is all coming together in a very frictionless, historically CSPs had to deal with all these components individually. Now they can get one stop with Ericsson, Vonage, Gadodia, and LotusFlare, all of this together. So they don't have to get into all the complexities, and they can serve their developer customer. There are two things which is unique, I think, also. One is that ability for CSPs to reach the developer through multiple channels. Mm-hmm. They can go direct to their own portal, like T-Mobile in the US have a platform called DevEdge. Mm-hmm. They can go through a vast network of Monetize developers, and Gadodia can provide their aggregation. So I think that ability of for a CSP to have multiple channel of distribution of their capabilities in an elegant way, I think is unique and is key. Mm-hmm. And the second thing is the various commercial model. It's not about just, hey, I make a call and I get paid. Well, there are different models now which we enable. Mm-hmm. It could be, rev share based. It could be based on subscription tiered pricing structures and so on. So I think that flexibility will enable CSP to cater to what the developers are looking for and what they're used to and so on, rather than telling a developer, well, you conform to what I have to offer. Mm-hmm. I think the kind of the table is turning where CSPs would be able to conform to what developer needs. And I believe that's going to be very critical to unlocking the potential. I believe that I think the success is going to be, at the end of the day, you're right. It does require collaborations. And I think I would give kudos to Ericsson for taking a lead into forming Gadodia and kind of realizing, hey, without collaborating, I don't think this is going to succeed, and it's going to be a hurdle for 6G, 7Gs, and so on. So I think they have done a good job. And bringing all the parties together, sometimes they compete, but still bringing it together in a compliance way so they can collaborate and do the right thing for the whole entire ecosystem. The second, I believe that the success ultimately depends on the success of the developer. We are quickly moving to an agentic economy, AI economy, where the developer, the next set of enterprise customers are going to be looking for programmable network, and not for their human developers, but their agents. Mm-hmm. And if we are able to provide that in a very elegant and simplistic way, which we are doing, I do believe that is going to really transform. And I believe that's going to enable, network being the background, moving network in the foreground, right? Enabling those capabilities exposed. You can have different type of use cases, location with a consent, surely with a user consent, SIM swaps, and all those things. So lots of use cases which will come, which we don't even know today, because we don't even know what the end use cases will look like. And I think we are making it future-proof. We are getting it ready to really take the network capability to the next level, rather than just selling SMS and voice and data.
We have been looking at this, the bigger opportunity for at least 12 years now. Started a 5G for Industries program. And I think you want to begin with the end customer, the enterprise or the consumer at the end of the day that will benefit from this new technology, these new capabilities. We started a 5G for Industries program a good 10 years ago. And when you look at that, you start appreciating that it takes a lot of different players across the stack working in a concerted effort in industrializing the solution, from semiconductors to devices. Remember, this is now industry transformation, so it's no longer about the smartphone. There is sensors, there is humanoids, AGVs, drones that will be part of this new industrialized ecosystem. You have the radio networks, the core networks, the transport networks, and then at the end of the day, the applications. So it takes a lot of players across the stack to pull in the same direction. That requires some unselfish behaviors. It's an ecosystem play. It's a scale business. So I think Mobile World Congress this year is a good example where we have 120 different demos out on our show floor. About 2/3 of them are based on partners and partner solutions, and 1/3 of the demos is actually manned by business builders from our partners. So this is very much an ecosystem play to drive the industrialization and enable this to take off at scale.
I think the key is to make sure we are ready to conform to what the new realities in the future will bring, right? And I think as we are moving to the AI economy, I believe that, as I said earlier, there's so much intelligence in the network, and we've been constrained to expose this. What I believe that, as if you look at last 15 years, what hyperscalers have done to cloud computing, where made cloud as compute as a utility, where a developer can easily bring virtual machines anytime. We believe this ecosystem will become a hyperscaler of smart network connectivity. And I believe that this is basically going to enable new use cases, new applications, and as an industry and as a partner in this ecosystem, we take great pride. We are ready. We are ready to serve the end user, as Niklas said. We are ready to serve the developers, and ultimately do it in a where CSPs can capture the value which they deserve of the investment they are making. And that has been one of the complaints, and I do believe that the future is going to be taking the entire effort where CSPs will continue to make investment, they'll be able to reap the benefits while serving the end user and serving the developer.
The tailwind that we have right now, AI, agentic AI, physical AI, and I think Jensen nailed it, so I'm going to quote him, that we're seeing a massive deployment of compute right now, distributed processing capabilities. The next big wave is they're going to be connectivity, to Sam's point. So you need to connect all these devices. Sensors devices need to feed data into AI. Agentic AI needs to execute physical AI through devices. And all of that requires connectivity. So I think in 3, 4, 5 years, we'll see a lot more pervasive distributed connectivity, highly distributed edge compute running on more advanced, sophisticated wireless networks. And that will enable some of the use cases that we're showcasing on the floor today to take off at scale. So for example, this is no longer about just leveraging intelligence in the network and exposing information. This is about developers and enterprises being able to subscribe to a network asset, a connectivity asset in real time against an SLA. So we have I think this is a very telling demo where a reporter can basically subscribe to a network capability, a certain bandwidth and latency in a specific location at a certain period of time against an SLA. Yeah. That's an example. We can demonstrate that today. That will be available at scale for enterprises to access network assets in real time against an SLA. Reliable, secure, high-performance connectivity as part of their enterprise transformation. Great. And that future, I think, is not too far out.
Yeah, I was just about to pause and say, I don't want to stop yet.
We're going to do a sizzle reel at the end of the show.
What's a sizzle reel?
Like a compilation of 2-second videos of different things.
Okay.
Similar to what we did at the end of Dreamcast. It's just
okay.
Videos from the show floor, people walking around, some comments like, I'm excited to be here.
Yep.
Is there a 2-second thing that you want included from your 2 5-second thing that you want?
I think for me, it's really exciting to be part of this ecosystem with Ericsson, Vonage, and Gadodia. We believe that this is going to really bring a lot of great benefits for the CSPs and for the developer communities.
This year at Mobile World Congress, we're finally seeing some of these new network capabilities, intelligent network capabilities, come to life in real commercial applications for the benefit of consumers and enterprises. So this is the year we're making it happen.